Everybody, good evening. I'm Larry Gordon. Emtec is my company. We're an IT solutions company. We have 1,500 software engineers. About 20% of them are DevOps engineers. And we do product engineering. We build product for our clients. And I'll tell you a little bit about how we do DevOps and keep DevOps engineers happy and productive and what they do. And it's the same thing that keeps our customers happy and keeps them doing what they do. So our customers, and we don't have a lot of customers, we have 25 or so customers, but they fall into sort of three groupings. There's there's platform vendors. Some are big, some are little. Some are in healthcare, some are in financial services, some are in other things. So like, for example, Zillow is a customer. We've been working with Zillow for 15 years. We built Zillow. We deploy Zillow. We improve Zillow. We build CI/CD and infrastructure for Zillow. We build new features for Zillow. And that team, for example, has been together for 15 years. And the team has grown, but people don't like to rotate off that team. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So Zillow is a platform vendor. Other platform vendors are like in the financial services industry, Alchemy, or Backbase, Varo Bank, a digital bank. We don't really work with, Fifth Third Bank or Chase Manhattan. We work with the fintech people. We work with the health tech people. We also work, so the platform vendors are really interesting for DevOps, and they do it better, maybe more pure. They have, no specific DevOps team. They have people on the software engineering teams that do DevOps. And then we work with legacy companies, particularly in the supply chain biz and the logistics biz. And that's grown a lot in the past few years. We work with Werner, Yellow Freight, UPS. A lot of these are legacy companies. They do DevOps a little bit different, but we don't say, hey, you got to do DevOps with, the best pattern available. We say, we're going to do DevOps in a way that works for you. So my presentation today is a little bit about some of the things we do to keep the customers happy and keep the DevOps engineers happy and do DevOps. And I have 20 minutes, so I will time myself and do it right on time. So I told you a little bit about my company, what we do, and what our customers do. So we gather data, both from industry data and from our own customer set. We mashed it all up, and it's pretty close to what the industry is saying. So some of the companies are relatively new at DevOps, particularly the legacy companies. The platform companies, they're on the 80% side. They're doing DevOps, they're teaching us stuff half the time. We're teaching them stuff half the time. So we make sure that engineers are happy in the kind of DevOps environment they want to be in, whether it's a DevOps team that's building infrastructure or doing deployments, or for example, in Zillow, we help Zillow move from a private cloud in 2015 or so. And those engineers had to be good at cloud migrations to AWS. The same guys are still working there. They're not doing migrations anymore. They're doing high-speed, accelerated daily pulls and pushes and pushing out new versions of Zillow, where Zillow can feel they're stable, bring in revenue on a 24/7 basis, and deploy new products. So the same people who were originally brought in for doing cloud migration at Zillow are now doing advanced DevOps using all sorts of different tools. The point is they were continuous learners and they grew throughout their term there, and they wanted to stay there and learn new things. So one of the things we really talk about um, with DevOps and leadership and culture, which this is about, we do leadership things. That's what leadership is. You do leadership things. You build culture by doing things. That team said, we want to stick together. We want to keep building this product. We want to learn new skills. We want to, expand our team. And that's what they're allowed to do. Some engineers on some teams say, you know what? I don't want to work for the digital bank anymore. I want to go work for the digital banking platform vendor. They can do that. They can rotate out. You have to give them the opportunity to do that. They're happier and the customer's happy too, particularly the customer someone rotated into, and the less senior people get promoted up. So when we talk about leadership and culture in DevOps, we do leadership type of things, and that's part of it, nurturing people's careers and their educational path. So it's often spoken about when you're talking about leadership and culture in DevOps that you hire for kind of the attitude, the continuous learning, the collaborative, the bridge building, rather than the tool set. Well, a client comes to us and they need, it could be Octopus, it could be Terraform, it could be Docker, Jenkins, et cetera. Is it AWS or Azure? If they're an Azure-based company, they don't want an AWS engineer. They want an Azure engineer who can, be productive right away. So the technology and the technology skills are important, but when we start building these teams, we think about, in 10 years, is this person going to learn the new tools? Because the tools are going to be completely different, but the people, they stick around and the product grows. So one, it's assessing staff level and the relevant qualifications and skills, tech being one, understanding process and growing with the customer and having the customer like them, feel comfortable that they're integrated into their team. Those are the key things, because it doesn't matter how good they are technologically, if the customer says, isn't fitted to our team, for whatever reason. And the other part is including the insights from all the stakeholders. And I highlighted a few things out of a very long presentation, meaning the insights are, one, what tools should we be using? Engineers in our company, at least all the time, are always suggesting new tools, and the customers love it because things get done in a more modern way. It gets done faster, it gets done cheaper. So we always make sure to put the engineers, the DevOps engineers, right in front of the customer so that the customer can get those insights from the engineers. So insights from all the stakeholders, and then the customer insights on how the engineers can improve and be better. The key thing I'd like to talk about in this slide is designing an enriching organization model. So this is about rotating engineers between projects, moving engineers up and down, and having different learning new skills and having different roles within an existing customer. And that could be regarding what technology they're working on, or it could be, leading a group. DevOps engineer might lead a development group for a while if deployment and release management is what they're struggling with, or what's going to make them the most money. So one of the leadership things, and it's readily apparent and obvious, and any of you who are managers here, or CEOs or founders, you gotta grow the team and shrink the team and define roles accordingly. Clearly, that's what you do, and you decide on schedules and tools and standardization, and what's going to get automated first. And all of our customers have a list of priority list of what's going to get automated by what date, in what order, what gets containerized, what gets containerized by what, and how the workflows do. So the engineers that are taking more of a DevOps role are doing those types of things in the teams. And we look when hiring for the collaborative, for the ability for a DevOps engineer to fix code that's been broken and then report back to the software development team, the devs, on what they did to improve the code base that was, attempted to be deployed and probably broke. So a collaborative mindset, a helpful mindset, the ability to code and fix sections of the product. They're not going to be, quite as fast as what it really comes down to as the dev team, but that code is going to be integrated into the ultimate product. And we always care about product and, how can it scale? How reliable is it? How secure is it? And, how much money it can make. So the end of the presentation talks a little bit about, what we measure. And we measure, there's a few things. It's not all about how many releases did you do or how much code did you write or, how quickly did you get that particular set of instructions executed. But it's about, what was the yield? What was the increase in users using that product, or the revenue associated with that product, or the stability of that product? And, they have to meet technical requirements, but it's usually business requirements that the customer cares about. And that's how we measure the folks. So the DevOps engineers read a lot of the data coming off the systems, either the AWS tools or the Azure tools or the third-party open source monitoring tools. And they are expected in their teams to report that back to the client and be a little predictive about any problems, about cost of the cloud deployments, kind of the original DevOps role of how do I save money on AWS? And that's all up to our teams that are doing DevOps for our customers. Yeah, I talked a little about easing engineers' jobs and addressing problems in time. Dev teams are really expensive, even if you're using a global model. It's a big part of these companies' budgets. So they want to address problems in time, do it quickly, and create the feedback loop where you don't have to solve the same problem twice. And that's one of the metrics we measure our folks who are doing DevOps on. So I think I made it quick. I think I got in under time. And that's at Emtec, how we do DevOps, take care of our DevOps engineers, and take care of our clients' needs using DevOps. Thanks.